Greetings and welcome to my slightly later than normal, one day late, weekly live stream at Bobby's Monday Night Live. We're calling it tonight, 4th of July. Pretty much, slap bang in the middle of summer. Pride season, I believe, is over. Don't they get the entire month of June or something to celebrate their life choices? I've got to be honest with you, unless the TV meticulously push that message into your head that you should be celebrating sodomy, for example. I mean, whatever people want to get up to is their business, right? I wouldn't stand in judgment of anyone, but come on, keep it to you. All right, I just don't think it's something anyone would. All right, whatever. Let's not go there. It's kind of like, isn't it? Like a woman being proud of, I'm not going there because it's just something which is a bit out there. Nonetheless, I believe that's all behind us. So people with brightly coloured hair, women using men's toilets and vice versa, should hopefully come to an end. And although I did see an interesting story actually about, apparently, I'm pretty sure this relates to the United Kingdom, all public buildings which are now built from 2022, I believe, all have to have unisex toilets. They're no longer allowed to build toilets which are specifically for men or women, which is a bit crazy. But just one of the directions that this world seems to be going in. Again, you guys know I watch soaps. I make no secret of that. Again, I wouldn't go out and celebrate it. I wouldn't have a festival boasting about the fact that I watch soaps, but I do. It's one of my weaknesses, I guess. I do enjoy the storytelling. Of course, they squeeze ridiculous amounts of propaganda in, but yeah, it's more now I kind of just enjoy looking for the doubles, as it were. But anyway, in one of the episodes of EastEnders, there's obviously, countless gay couples in these soaps now, and one of them had a young daughter, and the daughter was begging their gay father, "Please, Daddy, you've got to take me to Pride, I've got to see it." And I thought, no, surely no child comes back and begs their dad to take them to Pride, do they? What kind of world are we living in if that is genuinely the case? Okay, right, I'm going to say my hellos to everyone who's taken the time to tune in tonight, particularly Susan Byrne, Maria Ellender, David, Modler Digging Up the Thames, Graham, and I do hope I haven't missed anyone. If I have, please let me know. I will catch up in the chat and see what you guys have been saying. As always, I would like to thank my Patreon supporter, Linda Mack, for continuing to support me. If you want to see what goes on Patreon, please feel free to either click the link in the description or hit the QR code. That's one of the ways you can support my work. Another way is you can hit the thumbs up button. Again, I believe that might do a little bit to help the channel grow a bit. Attract a new audience. Actually, talking about audience, I did notice T-Roof commented in the live chat last week, and I think I overlooked it. And I remember seeing the name and thinking, I didn't thank him for commenting. So, T-Roof, if you're watching tonight, thanks ever so much. Right, let's have a look at this chat. Basically the topic of tonight, I haven't got anything specific, although I did put a post out last night, a community post on YouTube, stating that I would be streaming tonight rather than last night, and suggested anyone with any comments, let us know what you'd like us to cover tonight. And a couple of responses the last time I looked, so thank you for that. Let's see who's saying hello in the live. Susan Byrne has mentioned a documentary by Matt Walsh called "What Is a Woman?" Thank you for suggesting that. We will have a look at that one actually. We'll come back to that. Don't let me forget. Susan said, very interesting. He interviews doctors, experts, and people on the street. Okay. Thank you for suggesting it, Susan. I'll check them out, and if we can find it, I'll share a link in the description. David says hi. Maria saw Slimeball Schofield grinning inanely at Pride. I'm guessing you didn't attend the festival yourself, Maria? Yeah, of course. Philip Schofield went specifically to be photographed. It's just a photo opportunity. Who knows what Philip Schofield really is, but I commented, didn't Philip Schofield like carry on an extramarital affair for like years behind his wife's back? And this guy's proud. He is proud as punch about that. You couldn't get a more proud person than Philip Schofield. And Susan has to be sure he's a man. Never checked him or her. Philip Schofield. Do you know what? I spoke to Philip Schofield kind of once. Back when they did, do you remember Going Live? And I still remember the jingle they had, and it was Going Live 081 811 8181. And they were doing a competition, and Philip Schofield was on the phone to someone. And just as they hung up, we punched in the number. And the phone started ringing next to Philip Schofield. And he picks it up, and we crapped ourselves and hung up, realising we'd just got through to the studio. And he sort of laughed a bit nervously and said, "Oh, don't call me at work," and puts the phone down. He made a joke about it. But yeah, that's my anecdote about Philip Schofield. But as for what he is, who knows with anyone on TV? We can't be too sure. Maria reminds us that Schofield was with a teenage boy whilst maintaining a facade of a happily married man. Yeah, isn't there some charity that his brother was involved in? And he is photographed with what could, barely be a 15-year-old kid. And it turns out that was the boy that he ended up being in a relationship with. Yeah, I guess if what they tell us about Philip and the rest of them are true, I guess that is could be a bit embarrassing for him one day if anyone actually checked it out. But all the mainstream media are interested in is just celebrating and normalising people's love of homosexuality. I wonder how many people have been... Oh, Mudlight, your hair is purple. Yeah. Fair enough. But I always notice apparently dyeing your hair bright colours is something for Pride. I'm sure they do it. The rainbow. They enjoy the rainbow. But yeah, if you want to dye your hair purple, reclaim it. Just like the gays apparently reclaimed the word queer, or whatever it was, and black people reclaimed another word, which I wouldn't say on here, but I wouldn't say in real life either. So, why not reclaim dyeing your hair bright colours? Graham asks, have you heard about the Cenobites appearing on TikTok? To be honest, no. Cenobites, I'm not 100% sure what they are, as Maria also asks. Are the demons from Hellraiser? Thomas Sheridan made a video today claiming literal demons are operating on TikTok. Do you know, the outlets like YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, what's the other one? Snapchat? Are all outlets for the elite, and the elite are motivated by who knows where they get all these hand symbols. They all do it. We've all seen them flashing the devil horns, or the Captain Spock's three-fingered salute, or whatever it is. Yeah, they are from people who very obviously pledge their allegiance to which I believe it has to be a satanic entity. So yeah, I could well believe that that demonic entities operate on TikTok, most definitely. Not even necessarily supernatural, anything supernatural. I mean, many atheists, I believe, could easily be mistaken for Satan worshippers if you thought long and hard about it. But Graham, no, I haven't. Thomas Sheridan, we could certainly have a look at that after we've looked at the video suggested by Susan. Let's have a look. Graham says it's Madhouse Schofield was about to get in trouble for sexual assault, and then it comes out he was gay and everything. It's forgotten. Yeah, you're too right, everything's forgotten, because I do not remember that one, actually. I do not remember him, although he was around on that time. He was a BBC presenter back on the children's programmes back in the 80s, back in the 90s, at the time when, as if we believe the mainstream, history would suggest, they're at their most sordid. Okay. Some of you guys talking about CERN. I'm not too sure. I don't know what to make of CERN. I mean, when they talk about, oh, we recreated the conditions to start just before the Big Bang. I mean, what a complete load of nonsense. I would put that along with NASA saying, oh yeah, we're sending another rocket to Mars or the moon or whatever. Complete nonsense, of course. Everything we're told from the mainstream, particularly when it involves large amounts of public money. I'm not sure how CERN are funded, but I wouldn't be at all surprised to hear that they got huge grants from world governments. But they're supposedly turning on something. Yeah, maybe, who knows what goes on down there. I know they've got haven't they got a statue dedicated to the pagan dungy idol god of destruction, or outside the front of CERN? We can have a look at that, because I've never looked too closely at CERN. I know a lot of people, or I do remember some people suggested it. I watched a video once linking the goings on of CERN and the use of supercomputers with changes in reality and the Mandela effect and stuff. I do remember the two being linked. Am I completely convinced? I'm not sure. What do we ever actually see come from CERN? I mean, I'm guessing, we'll have a look at it. I'm guessing it's going to be more CGI, but let's wait and see. David says, BS19 is coming back. It's a Jubilee in Glastonbury's fault. That's interesting, because I do know someone who's just come down with a heavy cold. Of course, what gets reported on the mainstream about BS19 is, at the very least, if you were being absolute as kind as you could, you would say is ridiculously exaggerated to the point of falseness, to the point that they're lying. But you can't deny people catch colds, obviously. So there are, however they're passed on, is it from people's, I mean, isn't it interesting? We just go through a month where people are heavily encouraged to attend festivals which celebrate immorality and sodomy and the passing around of sexually transmitted infections, for example. Come into July and people start getting ill. Oh, what a surprise. Oh, must be COVID's fault. Yeah, don't buy a word of it. But I have seen more and more people walking around with their GIMP masks on, or with their slave masks on, and I just feel sorry for them. And I noticed back, last year, when the video we watched at the very start of this, back when I made that and everyone was wearing their masks, and they would look at me, they would, like, with a sense of self-righteousness, they would look at me as if to say, where's your mask, scumbag? Anyway, I notice now the people wearing masks all have their faces firmly fitted. They can't even bring themselves to look up, it seems, almost like they're embarrassed. I would be hugely embarrassed. Anyway, it wouldn't take much for people to muzzle up again, though, would it? A couple of stories on the news, get Boris back in front of a green screen telling people, oh, we're worried about numbers. Oh, that's it. Don't need to say any more, Boris. I'll put my mask on. I've got any more injections I can have, if that'll help. Crazy. What is wrong with people? Anyway, Susan, another booster lined up. Of course they have. They're not gonna stop on however many it is they've done now. I believe, is it the over 75s or something, are continually getting one every 6 months. Poor people. And, I mean, whether or not, whatever goes into it and whatever it does to people, just the fact that people are pressured into being part of something, you're forced to say, yes, I'll trust in your government. Government, complete scumbags, constantly being called out for being dishonest and self-serving. Yeah, I'll trust those people. What are they telling me to do now? You know, I feel sorry for people that haven't got it in them to say, nope, not doing that. And I do hope, if they ever happen to come across my videos, you know, I really hope that they can find the strength to just say a little prayer. Put your faith, you know, in God, that if you put your faith in Him, He will return the favour. And say, no, I'm not trusting in your masks, I'm not trusting in your treatment plan. And I decline, you know. You don't have to judge anyone else for if they believe that's the way to look after themselves. But surely, still, at this point, people wouldn't still be trusting in that, would they? Of course they would. Let's see. Hugo Talks doing a video on CERN, right? Okay. Oh, Glastonbury being a witchcraft area. Interesting. I did go to Glastonbury years ago. I think I said last week. I went back in 2019. 1999 actually. What am I on about? Forgetting how old I am. Yeah, I was 19 at the time. I went, and beautiful weather. Travis played, and Travis at the time had this big song, "Why Does It Always Rain on Me?" And apparently just as they finished singing that, it started raining, and that was the only time that weekend, or while I was there, that it rained. And by weird coincidence, I was asleep in my tent throughout that thing. And yeah, Travis were quite big at the time, but they were performing in the middle of the day. They didn't have like headline act status or anything. Anyway, yeah, I thought that was very strange. And of course, you've got your fire jugglers, and you know, and as we looked last week, Extinction Rebellion have been there doing their satanic practices. Yeah, I don't doubt that things are not as they seem down that way. I don't actually live. Well, I'm fairly local to Glastonbury. It didn't take long to get there. I remember that. Once you get to Bristol. David says, have I looked at Harp before? Not. So I probably have actually. I recognise the name, but not too closely. We can have a look at that, most certainly. Mudlark says, CERN unleashing demons tomorrow is BS. If they're going to do that, I doubt they would tell us. Has anyone come out and said that? Yeah, from my understanding, which I promise you is limited, and going on the information I've heard, apparently people do claim to have unleashed. I don't know anything about CERN, but obviously Aleister Crowley, who is a hero among musicians for some reason, he claims to have unleashed a demonic entity. And apparently, if you read it, it involved, was it child's blood or something? Something to do with boys and just creepy, horrible stuff, yeah. Obviously, looking at biblical times, when they needed to, in order to maintain contact using the Ark of the Covenant with God, they had to slaughter huge amounts of animals and pour the blood literally onto in the area. Maybe the iron in the blood acted as some sort of, who knows how it works, but yeah, I believe blood is required to raise those sorts of entities. And I can't talk about blood too long without going a bit weak, so I'm not going to start talking about that too much. Maria says, just had a bad cold, achy for days with a temperature. Stayed home, rested, dosed on honey and lemon and garlic, and you're back to normal. I'm glad to hear that, Maria. Yeah, we all get colds. It is strange that they all seem to come out at once. You know, people do. Well, I guess people are getting colds all the time, and is it a bit like psychosomatic? You know, if you're with someone and they get a cold, you start thinking, oh, am I going to end up getting one? And once your head tells the body that it's ill, it's very difficult for your body to disobey what the brain's telling it. I do often wonder. I mean, things like smoking, for example. I smoke and have a heck of a hard time going a day without a cigarette. But I do wonder. I mean, could addiction to things like cigarettes just be a marketing ploy? Just a trick to convince people you can't live without cigarettes, or to convince drug users or people on medication you can't live without your medicine, and just keep people buying it. There are lots of illicit substances which are not physically addictive. For example, I don't know, is it cocaine? I think is just mentally addictive. As far as I know, again, no expert, but it could be that, so having a mental addiction can, by all accounts, be just as powerful as a physical one. So, yeah. Anyway, I believe our, getting to a person psychologically is probably one of the most powerful tools out there. If you can figure that out, then these people have huge amounts of power. Susan says no one has said CERN is unleashing demons. Okay. David, one of my friends died the other day. Professional footballer Gary Pearson played for Darlington at age 45. When I was at school, actually, I had a teacher who was a big fan of Darlington. I went to Culverhay. Robertson. Yeah, I don't know if you've got any links to Darlington Football Club. But yeah, there's another professional footballer, hey? Sports people, seem to be falling quickly. Not just sports people. Obviously, I've covered the campaigner. Not a campaigner. Activist. For some reason, she's called an activist. Deborah James, who I've made about 4 or 5 videos in the last week about, has finally passed on. So we'll have a look at that later as well to see whether she has got to see whether any of my predictions about how quickly the funeral would happen, about what would take place, we'll see whether any of them have started to come to light yet. Just echoing Susan Burns' words. Sorry to hear about your friend dying, David. It's not good, you know. Right, we're going to have a look at some of these things, and the first suggestion was Matt Walsh, what is a woman? So I will share my screen and make sure I've got to line this up actually. Do you know what? What I'm just going to do very quickly is send a tweet to let people know that we are live streaming. We've been going on for about half an hour now. Oh, what happened there? Let me just tap this message out. 1 minute. Live stream underway, I'll say. Underway. I hope you can stop by and say hi in the live chat. Yeah, that's one of the most important things. I mean, if anyone tunes in, I do really appreciate knowing that you guys are watching and saying hello in the live chat. I really do. I try and reply to every comment. Right, where are we? Anyway. Oh. Okay, I want to make sure we can see everything. Yeah, that looks pretty well lined up. Yeah, that was the tweet I just left. Right, one thing I was going to do. Okay, we'll look at the video by, what was the name, sorry. Oh. Matt Walsh, what is a woman? Hopefully my computer's not going to go too slow. Oh, there's a little preview of what we're going to be looking at as well tonight, if we get a chance. Alexandra Burke, does anyone recognise that name or remember that name? Someone on X Factor or Strictly or something like that. They've given birth. What do you reckon? Right, Matt. Let's see, Matt Walsh, was it? Matt Walsh. What is a woman? I see Linda Mack in the live chat. Great, thanks for joining us. Good to have you here. Thanks as always for your continued support, Linda. Much appreciated. I did give you a shout out at the start of the show as always. Right. Matt Walsh. Oh, it's a book. But is it just a book or is it a video? Yeah, Matt Walsh isn't someone I can, off the top of my head, say, oh, I know who that is. Is this someone pushing or questioning the trans movement? Church of Cowards, a wake-up call to complacent. Oh, what happened there? A wake-up call to complacent Christians, right. I'm guessing this is what you were referring to, Mudlark? Is this even a question, what is a woman? Well, of course it is, because there are differences between women and men, obviously. All of a sudden, way too many people don't seem to know the answer. I hope you can read it, the text is quite small. Is a woman a woman just by feeling or acting in a particular way? Aren't gender roles just a social construct? Can a woman be trapped inside a man's body? Does being a woman mean anything at all? Sounds interesting. And to answer those questions, is being a woman about feeling or acting a particular way? Well, no, surely it's about the body you have. That is literally what makes a woman and a man, for example. Obviously, there's more to it than just genitals. Obviously, internal parts, a womb, a uterus, ovaries, testicles, etc., etc. Yeah, I've not heard of this one, but thank you for the suggestion. I will leave a link to this guy's video. To this guy's book. Sorry, it was Susan that suggested this, not Mudlark. My apologies. I'll try not to get too mixed up tonight. Yeah, I do hope this is the correct thing and I haven't just coincidentally stuck on something which is of no relevance, but it looks pretty... apparently we can get a preview, can't we? How do we do that? Yeah, look inside. Yes, please. Alright, they're not letting me look inside at the minute. Why not? Okay. David, a woman has a vagina and a man a penis, and that's what you got taught at school. Yeah, not anymore. I'm guessing sex education, as we had back when I was at school, is very different to what we've got now. Oh, this title will be released on July 28th. So maybe it's not quite available yet, I don't know, unless it's available elsewhere. I'm not sure. Right, let's just have a... Maria says, was actually glad to get a cold, a natural boost to my immunity. My son wanted me to take a PCR test and I gave him a sharp shrift. Glad to hear it, Maria. So many people I've heard say, oh, I'm really ill, I feel absolutely terrible. But my test was negative. Like, so who gives a stuff what your test says? People, well, no, I'm staying at work. Why are you staying at work? You're on at death's door, literally. Well, my COVID test came back negative, so I'm fine to work. No, That is not the mark of whether you're fit to work or not. Whether some poxy, crappy piece of plastic gives you 2 lines or not. If that is what you put your faith in, then, I mean, I know a lot of people don't put their faith in it. It's just either that or you're not allowed to come to work. And that was a situation I found myself in. Speaking of Kindle, you can read my account of not going along with this crap and of not agreeing to put my faith in plastic tests. There is a free, there's an audio version. Yeah, this is my one, 77p, and yeah, you can read it. Oh, that's interesting. I'm able to look inside my one. Maybe that other book we looked at, we didn't have enough. Perhaps it hadn't been released yet, so they didn't open it. Right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty confident the link to this ebook is in the description, but I will put it in the live chat along with the last thing we just. Sorry, guys, just bear with me a second. Yeah, I know a few of you have already purchased this one. Oh my goodness, the link's so long that they can't even fit it on the page. That's crazy. Right, that should be enough, surely. Let's see. I have to have a look whether that link's come through or not. Open link in new window. Okay, we'll get there in a minute. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if you want to read my book, it's up there. I do have another one in the works, but it's got a bit behind. Right. Yeah, Susan, if you're still with us, yeah, you are. I see you're still in the live chat where you were. Is that the correct book we were looking at just a minute ago? This one. As I said, I will put a link to it. Yeah, I'm guessing because it's not been released, I am not able to... yeah, I'm not able to preview it yet. Right, here is a link to the book we've just been looking at. Where's my live chat gone? That's here, isn't it? More than a... No. Was it more than a woman, or what is meant to be a woman? What is a woman? Is a woman on Amazon. There you go. I do like to share links. Yeah, just for all... Oh, apparently we've got a poor signal. Hopefully things are still playing all right. Yeah, just for transparency, I want to make it absolutely clear that the ebook that I just showed of mine is available to listen to for free on my other channel and on BitChute and on 153 News. There's plenty of places you can listen to it if you can put up with my voice reading it. If you want to read it at your own leisure, yeah, hit the link. And I do really appreciate anyone leaving just like giving me a rating. You see this guy's got 5-star rating, or 4.9. Yeah, so far I've got 1 rating, which is good, but yeah, I would like to get as many as this guy, definitely. Yeah, I will try and put another one out at some point. We'll see how it goes. Right, what was the other thing we were talking about? Well, you guys have mentioned quite a few things. I'm not going to look at Philip Schofield. Well, maybe actually. Let's see. Can we find Philip Schofield? Of course. I'm guessing every single news outlet covered that he was at Pride, assuming he is in the news. 14 hours ago, he went to Silverstone with his wife and daughter. Childhood and life I would rather not know. Right, what? Oh, here we go. Of course, Kelly Holmes spotted with Philip Schofield at Pride. My goodness. Look at those two. Yeah, Philip wants to make sure everyone's well aware that he's working. He's got ITV on. He's making sure he's put his label. Both these people could, of course, be lookalikes. Could be. I mean, that looks ridiculously staged for the cameras. That could be a scene taken on the streets of, I don't know, Emmerdale Farm or something. But I guess, I mean, is this the first? Oh, I guess this is the first time they've done a Pride since he came out. Because, of course, all these gay people forgot how proud they were of their lifestyle because they were too afraid to catch a cold. Isn't it interesting? These people want to say, we're activists, we're marching, this is how much, we believe in what we do, we should be proud of what we do. Oh, what? Some people are getting colds? Oh, we're going to cancel that for the next 2 years then. We certainly aren't going to be proud of... Although, didn't it still take place? I don't know. Considering my last... I did a video a year ago on this very subject. It must have happened last year, but... And I'm sure Philip Schofield came out a lot more recently than that. Oh dear. Yeah, who knows what Philip is, to be honest with you. They can pad these people out in such a way. He does have a flat forehead though. He's got that traditional square hairline. And of course this person, who is a former athlete, not Sally Gunnell, I read her name a second ago, Kelly Holmes. Yeah. Got one heck of a Adam's apple. Right. Okay. Yeah, of course the Scum newspaper covered Philip. Any opportunity to promote such a thing? Okay, what was the other things we did say we were going to look at? David says, it boils my piss. The Pride March got TV coverage and the Freedom Marches get F.O. No, you're absolutely correct. Excuse me, I need to fill up my drinks bottle in a minute. Do you know, I did say to myself I want it to be done tonight by 11:30. It's sort of like midnight. Sorry, it's 11 already and I barely got started. So I'll see what I can do. Oh, CERN we were going to look at, weren't we? Mudlark, because your natural colour's turning grey, you've got your hair purple. Yeah, whatever works for you, Mudlark. Just don't be surprised if people invite you to their latest Pride gatherings, because that is, I believe... Although Philip and Kelly Holmes didn't have bright coloured hair, but it wouldn't take too long if we put in Pride. I'm not going to, because, oh, hang on, here's another one. To see people with bright coloured hair. I mean, I like bright coloured hair, to be honest with you. I do think it looks quite cool. Yeah, back in my teens, I used to dye my hair a lot. I do have quite naturally fair hair, but... Okay, no bright coloured hair just yet. Phil celebrating... I bet that's on a TV studio, isn't it? They're on set. They're not actually... Yeah, proper freak shows. The whole gang was there. Happy Pride Day. What on earth is Pride Day? They actually got... I thought it was the entire month. Yeah, I stand by the Holy Scriptures. Pride 100% comes before destruction. And... yeah, I think that's being ultra-specific. The Bible is most definitely ultra-specific about certain things. And when it says something as blatant as that, pride comes before destruction. Look at the Daily Mirror desperately trying to load an advert up on my screen. It's like, no, I don't want to watch it. Okay, I guess this was with his wife, who thoroughly supports his relationship that he had with a young boy. Hang on. What's his wife's name? I'd be interested to take a closer look at that one, actually. Because, Yeah, I wonder how suspect she might be. Right, Philip Schofield's wife. We'll try not to get too stuck with Philip Schofield. Steph. Okay, Steph Schofield. Let's see. Do we get any of the telltale giveaway? I don't know actually. Obviously, they can do anything they like with people, but I mean, look at Philip in this one. Does he? It actually looks like a drawing, like a cartoon character or something. It doesn't even look remotely real. Yeah, I say these words quite a lot. Oh my goodness, is that her? That can't be her. No, that's nothing to do with Philip Schofield. My apologies. I would be interested to know a bit more about her. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure on that one because none of these pictures really reveal. I tell you who she looks like, in a way, is who's that other person that he sits next to? Fern Britton, I think she's called. Dead ringer for her, in my opinion. But as for whether he was already in a relationship with a man, I have no idea, okay? I'll have to leave you guys to work that one out. Let's see. Where were we? Graham says, Bobby, oh right, the Cenobites. No, I haven't heard about Cenobites on TikTok. So I will certainly have a look at that one. Cenobites. To be honest, I'm not actually... I do remember watching the Hellraiser film. Yeah, what a crazy bunch they are. Or if we go to videos and see if anything on TikTok comes up. Yeah, there we go. The scene was so goofy. Okay. Goodman 2. Saul Goodman. Okay, looks like a... Yeah, who was it mentioned there? Graham. Yeah, if you have anything specific, like a link or something you could share, that would be appreciated. But otherwise, destroying salty SWF with the... Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't use TikTok, but I mean, I've never... The only time I've ever actually watched TikTok, I've had people send me videos about TikTok clips. Always they look CGI to me. They all look fake. I mean, isn't that one of the big things about TikTok? Is that, or is that, yeah, that you can, like, it gives you a lot of opportunities to fake footage. I mean, there's somewhat Cenobite Dyke. Either prove my point by getting your... Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised to find... In fact, I don't know if this is a Cenobite, what we're about to look at now, but they pledge their allegiance nonetheless. Weird Jamie, Freak Show and a Half. Very active on TikTok. But oh my goodness. Yeah, this one. Oh no, there's actually something called Pregos of TikTok. Do you know what? I could get ridiculously stuck watching this. I probably wouldn't be able to quit because so many of the celebrity pregnancies that get hundreds of thousands of views, they're all fake. That's all there is to it. I mean, this is supposedly a 2-week-old baby with its head balancing its head on its shoulders like it's no big deal. No way could a frame that small support such a big head. I'm sorry, it's crackers. It's absolutely crazy. Does that make this person a Cenobite? Dunno, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a load of spikes start sticking out of her head. Or for the face to just fall off altogether because it's all plasticine, stuck on like a prop. I want to cry. Yeah, these people are as fake as it gets. So that's my experience with TikTok. Anything to do with Cenobites? Maybe not, but definitely fake nonetheless. Right, then we got onto the subject of Maria Ellender mentions Shiva, the Shiva statue, which is out the front of CERN, which is a good point. We'll have a look at that now. Well, first of all, we'll look for CERN, see what they claim they are. Who do you think funds them? Government funded? I mean, world government, funded the same way NASA are? Do they just give us CGI? Because if you ask me, this looks like, when the, what do they call it? The International Space Station docks with the whatever, all those things. That's what that looks like to me. Isn't it just a... Yeah. I mean, it's clearly some humongous piece of equipment, but that image, if I have a look now for, let's see, I don't want to overload my computer. Let me just see how YouTube's doing. Is it still telling me it's got... We seem to be playing back all right, so I don't need to check. But I am getting a spinning ball right. I'll have to start closing down some of my tabs or it will struggle. Yeah, apparently YouTube aren't getting enough information. Right. Okay. Let's see, what's one of the satellites? Space satellites. Images. Of course, this is all CGI, but you do get to see some in the factory, and it just looks... I mean, obviously, I hope no one is in any doubt that these are all computer-generated images. None of these images are real. I mean, there's a chance, I guess, someone was up in a hot air balloon, they chucked out something and took a photograph of it as it started falling. Very unlikely, but... Right, hang on. Satellite production. I'll probably bring up an image of Photoshop or something. Yeah, here we go. Even using the same wide angle lens to get the image in. Let's see, we'll look at this one. Do you see what I mean? It just looks all the same to me. I'm not... Okay, this is... Okay, that's not a very good one, actually. That isn't exactly what I wanted. Actually, yeah, they've used a weird wide-angle lens when they probably didn't need to, actually. It's designed to make things look larger than it really is. Of course, ESA, that's the European Space Agency, they're going to fake it till they make it. Alright, here we go. Lockheed, and we've got two scientists, two workmen in white coats and hairnets working on this piece of equipment. Of course, it's vitally important that human hair doesn't get stuck in the equipment and get sent off into outer space. What on earth would we do? There's your NASA and there's CERN. As for what they really get up to, let's see. We'll look for an interview. Yeah, I remember someone sending me, or maybe I came across it myself actually. It was a video about how CERN and what they're doing could open up, could mess with the timeline. and cause people false memories, such as the Mandela effect. And it was quite a creepy video as they talked about what supercomputers can do. Right. All right. Actually, we'll stick with this webpage if my computer can keep up. Goodness me. Right. The Large Hadron Collider. The first website. Okay. The Higgs boson. Obviously, nothing about CERN is scientific. Yeah, one of my favourite live streams, and something I'm constantly sharing on Twitter, is the Flat Earth Debate by Nathan Oakley. Excellent YouTube channel. Whatever way you swing, it is, yeah, really good information. And I got to think where I was going with that. Yeah, and they make a great point of just drilling home what is science and how, it's basically the study of natural phenomena, which none of this is. None of this is natural phenomenon. I think I'm going to try. Right, this apparently, I mean, what they claim, but what do they actually show us? I mean, it's just big pipes, isn't it? It's just pipes going through tubes. Or what's, thousands of magnets of different varieties. Oops. Oh, hang on. We get an interactive look round at CERN, how open they are. Isn't this good of them to... Yeah, of course, now I 100% am not the first person to point this out. It was probably, I don't know, probably Russian Vids was the first person I saw call this out. The logo in the background, am I going to be able to take a screenshot? Hang on, there we go. And yeah, this will take ages to load up, so just bear with us a moment. But yeah, they let you look around the offices. I'm sure this wasn't staged for the camera. But yeah, what they claim, if you believe what they claim, they are aren't they trying to make black holes or something, or recreate the Big Bang and stupid things like that? Well, what an argument that must be in the office. Oh, how do we know what it was like when the Big Bang? Oh, well, just read Wikipedia, they'll tell you. Oh, good luck, people. A virtual tour of LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. Hopefully my computer will be able to do that, manage it. Do you know what? If this is like something you can just play, if it was like a slideshow, I would maybe just keep it playing for 5 minutes while I go and get myself a drink. Yeah, I'm looking for something to... Oh, CERN we were going to look at, weren't we? Yeah, just said big 666 in the logo, as you could probably see just in the top left of the screen. Oh, here we go. Come on, computer, you can do it. Yeah. As I said, pointed out by other YouTubers, 6 and there's another 6 here, and finally 1 here. So yeah, they get their 666s in, of course, everywhere. Anyone know what CERN actually stands for? Okay, here we are looking around the... Oh my goodness, it went crazy there. Obviously, if they really are dealing in the occult... Oh, I'm not sure what I've done there, I've messed that up. Yeah, if they're really dealing in the occult, they certainly aren't going to be telling us about it. Well, why wouldn't it? Hang on, I want to go forward, but I thought there were more images. Okay. Great. What a wonderful virtual tour. As I said, I'm not sure how these people are funded, but I wouldn't be at all surprised to hear that they get massive grants from whatever government controls them. And that's all they got to give you is a virtual tour. Yeah, who knows what goes on up there. Right, not Vishnu. What was the name of the god? The Shiva, that was it. Thank you, Maria, for. And if anyone else mentioned Shiva beforehand, right, we will have a look at that. CERN Shiva statue, because of course, don't they claim that Shiva is also the god of not only destruction but right? Publicdelivery.org. The first answer on Bing. Yeah, I'm guessing, I haven't read this, but the question is, why is there a statue of Shiva the Destroyer at CERN? I'm guessing the answer is going to be Shiva is also the god of creation or something like that, which is a complete 100% blasphemous comment to make. This dungy idol with... this dungy idol... I mean, what is actually going on there? I think if the public knew how much of their public money was spent on statues of demonic entities or references to demonic entities, I would hope people would be outraged. But then they find out how much is spent on plastic tests, and yeah, they don't care about that. So why would they care about this? Who knows? Yeah, I'm not sure how old this article is. Perhaps we're way out of date on this. Yeah, 2022, not that long ago then. June the 18th. The artist and conception and inspiration behind the statue. Ooh. The fantastic gilded statue of Netorija stands proudly on the grounds of CERN, the European Organisation for Nuclear Research. It seems like something you would count on to discover in a temple or artwork museum, and not at a famed scientist study centre. Unveiled in 2004, the statue is considered part of an artful and symbolic gift from India. Wow. It honours CERN's long-standing status by courting and collaborating with the country's finest and brightest, which started in the 1960s and continues to this day. The artwork is a creative metaphor for CERN's mission. Wow. And what is its mission? Regarding the cosmic dance of subatomic particles. In Hinduism, Natarayana is an outline of the god Shiva, since it is the cosmic dancer, the god who danced the universe into existence, preserves it, and could in the future ruin it, is an image of Shakti, or existent force. Yeah, that is, I would say it's kind of insulting that is blasphemy to say that this metal statue, do people worship this rubbish? Well, these people obviously do. I wouldn't be at all surprised to... Yeah, I've never made a secret. I'm from Bath in England, and we have a university over there. I've moved just outside now, I'm not far away. But in Bath, there are 3 obelisks, and one thing I noticed, the students, just like probably in around September when they started, they were all going around Bath dressed up as in togas. I think they were in togas. I know there is some, because of the Roman city of Bath, supposedly, obviously ignoring a load of history just to say that Bath is only as important as the Romans. But yeah, they all go down and they would dance around this obelisk, which is of course a statue to the sun god Ra. So I'm not sure if every student does it, There were quite a few doing it. I mean, they were all taking it in turns. Goodness me, that image is weird in the top corner there. Yeah, how many students of universities are tricked into worshipping a false god, a dummy idol, a deity? I mean, what is that all about? There it is again. They love sticking their tongue out, clutching the serpent. I'm going to get a shot of that. If nothing else, just for future reference. Let's see. See, they try and brush over the fact that it's a religious and spiritual symbol, suggesting that it's all metaphor. It doesn't really mean it. You know, the fact that we have a statue worshipping a god that is supposedly danced the heavens into creation doesn't mean we believe any of that. This is all just metaphor. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, we're going to move on from... Well, unless anyone's got anything particular. Okay. Susan also mentioned very much earlier on, as we were talking about bugs and whatnot, that virus theory has been debunked on BitChute. Yeah, I mean, a theory is... I mean, if ever you look for an image, you know, what proof is there of viruses, all they're ever going to give you is CGI. Or I can guarantee the first image we see if we do a search for it, will be of CGI. Okay. Alexander Burke has a massive head like a dude. Yes, we will be looking at that story in a minute, actually. Before we move on, go too far ahead. Phil Wright, greetings, good to see you in the live chat. All Hollywoods are reversos. Yeah, don't I know it. Let's see, I hope I haven't missed anyone. David, the magazine chicks with dicks, they are men, aren't they? Of course they are. Phil Wright says the scamdemic is old news now. Bring out the fake shootings. The thing is, we never really know how old something is until... Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're a million miles away from the same thing happening, if for different reasons, you know. Apparently it's got so hot now in the daytime that everyone in England, for example, or Holland or Australia or the United States, everyone has to stay in their home between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. in summer. You're not allowed out. We're suddenly getting locked down because of the weather, for example. Somehow, though, they would have to... Well, maybe it would all be advice. So this is all government advice. I know people think it's a law, but no, it's all government advice. So, maybe one particular chapter is finished, but who knows? Maria, I totally agree. All Victoria's Secret models are indeed cocks and frocks. I've not heard that one. That's perfect. Mudlark, did you see that both Matt Lucas and Boris Johnson have lost weight recently? No, Mudlark, I haven't caught that one. No, I did see it with... Yeah, I've seen Matt Lucas. I haven't seen Boris, so... I remember we were looking at a picture of Matt Lucas. He looks completely different. Like, well, the face is the same, but the body... And, yeah, they can do it so quickly, these celebrities. They can lose weight ridiculously fast. But, yeah, I do remember seeing an image of Matt Lucas looking so different. I'm pretty sure it's this one. The thing is, give it a month, give it 6 months or a year, and they'll be bringing him out having put the weight back on again. a lot, weight loss. Well, I can't find any of the images of him. Yeah, this program, Little Britain, where these women, they dress up in suits, like here, for example. I think that is ridiculous. That is actually very close to how a lot of celebrities are passed off. Their faces are literally molded like this. Yeah, that's a good example of how real they can make people look. Um, so yeah, when we see Matt Lucas look all skinny, hang on, I want to see his weight loss. So I am going to have to take a break shortly. Let me see. Is this him here? That's surely not Matt Lucas. Well, with the shades on, you never know, do you? That could be absolutely anyone, but I think they are trying to say that's him. Oh, the doctors ordered him to lose weight. So, of course, doctors in the mainstream cannot be questioned. What if you don't obey a doctor? Well, there's only one way out, and that is, you're not going to be. They're not going to keep telling your story if you don't support the advice of doctors. Anyway, let's see Boris Johnson. I've said before, I genuinely don't think it's as simple as Boris and, as these, he's 231. Let's see. I was so terrified of, I knew I had to lose weight. Maybe with Boris they'll try and say it's wow, that does look different, doesn't it? Perhaps they'll try and say it's the stress worrying him. Yeah, you could get so many different people dressing up as Boris. I bet they could get 10 different people and make each one look an absolute dead ringer for Boris. I am not Boris. What's this going on here? No filter. We are London. I mean, who knows what's going on there, but that's very weird, isn't it? Obviously, it's not Boris Johnson. Now, I do remember I watched a really interesting video on Donald Trump, who I think Boris Johnson is more or less a British version of Donald. And they said, whenever you see Trump wearing a red tie, it was the real Trump. Whenever he's wearing a blue tie, it was a fake one, or vice versa. It was one way or the other. And but then I saw, and they showed a clip, and he was wearing a red and blue tie. I mean, what does that mean? Yeah, all world leaders will have lookalikes, and perhaps that's all they have. All these lookalikes believe that they're just being hired as a double, at least believing that there is a real person, but who knows? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to find that we never see, I don't know, if anyone lives near Boris Johnson and can prove me wrong, hey, I would be more than happy to hear your information. I do not accept anecdotal information, which is unfortunately what a lot of it is these days, but I would like anyone making a bold claim such as, I know Boris and what's his wife's called? It's a boy's name, isn't it? Carrie, sorry. I know Boris and Carrie. I live next door to him. Yeah, I would need a little bit of proof to, for me to accept that claim. Right, we're getting sidetracked. I'm seriously going to have to get myself a drink. So, if anyone's got a suggestion for a video, actually, I've got a perfect video we can watch. Yeah, on yesterday I put out a community post. Yeah, I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with my community posts. I've got one going at the moment, asking you guys whether you're using Discord or not, because I do basically use Discord,
but I'm not that active, and I have considered starting a server on there. I'm not sure whether I'll do it or not, but if there's enough people, if anyone would actually join my server as it was, which is, if you're not familiar with Discord, we'll have a look at it before the end of the live stream. But yeah, I did ask you guys. I said, this is one of the cats at Visit, by the way, and I did take that picture during one of the live streams that I was doing. He was all lead on his back, so I had to take a picture of him, and he looked round at me. Anyway, one of the suggestions, because I asked people, if you've got anything that you want us to look at, please let me know. And Maria Ellender asked if we could have a look at resistant GBs condemned to death by the NHS, posted on YouTube on the 2nd of July, about an elderly campaigner, Eric Levi. So, it's about 20 minutes, that video. I don't like plagiarising other people's work. So, for review purposes, and in fact, with that in mind, I am just going to put a little note along the bottom of the screen, if OBS hasn't crashed, that, of course, any copyright protected material we're using tonight is always for review and education purposes. So, I'm going to have a look at this one. Am I right in thinking Resistance GP are the people that organised the protests? I could be wrong on that. So what I'm going to suggest is we watch 5 minutes of this video whilst I take 5, and you people can see what you think. Yeah, and then when we come back, if anyone's left anything in the live chat that you want us to have a look at, please accept my apologies if we don't get to it. I'll try though. Yeah, they're certainly active on YouTube and whatnot. They're all over the place, these people. I want to see them on YouTube, really. Right. This was Maria Ellender, of course, who suggested this one. So thank you, Maria. Before we do start with that, I'm sure someone else. It was. Yeah, I had another comment as well, but it looks like that one's vanished, which is a shame because it was going to bring me on to another point. Right. Welcome to the United Free Press. Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your guys' opinion on these people. I've got a feeling these are the ones that tweeted me once. It might not have been them. But yeah, I remember getting a tweet and it was someone saying, look, we're doing a protest on whatever day it was. If you don't take part or you don't do everything you can to promote our march, then you're part of the problem, basically, they said. And I thought, well, I didn't really agree, to be honest. I thought, hang on, how I choose to protest what I don't believe is right it's real world protests. I mean, all these people that descend on London, Trafalgar Square on a Saturday, a day of rest, by the way, and they and they're all protesting the wearing of masks or laws about mandates that never actually happened. However much, all these people that turn up, where are they a week later when they're on their own, when they haven't got a crowd of 100,000 people backing them up? Are they still able to protest? Because that is the time you're going to need it. I've said it before. The time you're going to need it is when your employer or your family member or your friend or your partner says to you, oh, do you mind putting your mask on? Oh, do you mind just taking this test before I let you in? That is the time when you have to be able to stand up for yourself and say, no, not doing that. You know, I respect our friendship, relationship, whatever, but I ain't doing that. Yeah, that is when you need to protest. Okay, with all that in mind, I will check that the audio is working, and I am going to put a link to this video. I'm going to just put a little comment up if you don't mind. I'm just going to hide my screen for all of 2 seconds while I put a note up. Oh. Yeah, thanks to everyone who's tuned in tonight and left comments in the live chat. It is massively appreciated. Back, better learn to spell. Back in a mo, ... Video link in description. That is to the video we'll be playing, of course, by Resistance GP. I will make that a bit clearer. Video by GB Resistance. Yeah, link will be in both the live chat and the description of this video. Yeah, at the end of every live stream, I do what I call, in every description of a live stream, I will do what I call show notes, where I link any video that we've referenced in the stream. It's only fair, isn't it? Whether I agree with them or not. I think I could, at the very least I can do is share. My goodness, I haven't had my logo up. Can you believe that? I hope you guys all knew who we were tuning into. Okay, seriously guys, I'm going to have to take at least 5 minutes. Well, I'm going to need 5 minutes, then we'll come back, and yeah, I'm unlikely to go much past midnight tonight, so it almost seems... But either way, we need to watch this video that was suggested by our Maria. So thank you for the suggestion, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. I will just check the audio works and everything. Let's see, what am I doing? Alright, I'm going to mute myself. I might be messing around with the audio for a couple of minutes, but then we'll watch 5 minutes of this video, which is a 20-minute video. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, I do understand it's getting late here in the UK, and if anyone, you know, has to go, can't stay, I totally understand. You can always watch it back tomorrow. You can catch up with what you don't manage to see. Although, to be honest, yeah, we're probably going to be going at the latest 11 for another 30 to 40 minutes. Right, let's see if we can get this playing then. Alright people, thank you for your patience, and I'll be back in a minute. Right.
Free Julian Assange now. We need him very much, because without the truth being told, we believe.
You know, Eric came along. I couldn't leave him here on his own, so I said I'd take a fine for it.
Free Julian Assange now. We need him very much, because without the truth being told, we believe the lies. Remember, that's Nazi Germany, you know? The truth couldn't be told.
We're here for Eric Levy, who's a human rights activist. Eric's been campaigning for human rights all his life. He's been around the world and was a human shield in Iraq and the Gaza Strip. He's been to the Congo, he's been to Cuba, and he's wanting to alleviate the suffering of all the oppressed people everywhere. For the past 5 or 10 or 15 years, I'm not quite sure how long, he's been supporting the Julian Assange campaign. I would guess it's about 12 years now, and supporting free speech and free press. And Eric is in hospital now which was just for a routine fall where he knocked his head. And he's been here 8 weeks. So every week we try and get him out of hospital and say he's declining while he's in hospital. Let's get him back home where he's independently living and he can stay strong and not go into a vegetative state with over-medicated situation. Anyone that goes into a hospital at 94 years old, let me warn you, be aware. You are on the high point score list of those who are going to receive these end-of-life cocktails. This is a financial consideration for the NHS, and we don't want to leave any older person unsupervised in hospital. This is a palliative care report that was written in 2010 that talks about how expensive end-of-life care is. So we've been very closely watching Eric and asking, why are you keeping him in so long?
Over the last few weeks, I've been visiting Eric. I was told that he had a fall. I thought he was okay and getting looked after in the hospital. But what seemed to happen is when I went in, he couldn't feed himself. The food that they were giving him was like jelly, Angel Delight and Muller rice, sugars. So I started feeding him with homemade soup for 4 days. He sat up in the bed. He was able to feed himself. He was able to move his hands. Doctors then took me into a room and told me Eric is very sick. He has a valve problem in his heart and we're going to put him on end of life. And I said, but he's recovering. Like, he's sitting up and he can eat now. And they said, oh, I know, but he's very sick. And I said, we're going to put him on end of life. But end of life, you don't just kill somebody. If you have a heart valve problem, then you die of a heart attack or a stroke or whatever else. And at home with the people that care for you and want to be with you. But unfortunately with Eric, when they start saying that they're going to give him this end of life, I said, no, you can't do it. And Jill was instrumental as well. So I said, we'd have to come down here and protest that they don't just kill Eric. He's not a dog, he's a man. If he has a heart valve problem, they're not going to fix it, it's not going to get better. But he doesn't have to die in hospital of a because they have him in a COVID ward and now we can't go in and see him. They gave him pneumonia in there, they gave him bed sores, and the bed sores then gave him blood infections. They nearly killed him 3 times in there.
Every week they tell us we're going to discharge him next week, and it doesn't happen. They keep delaying it. Now, to be fair, I understand legally they're worried about releasing a 94-year-old and then being sued if he goes home and drops dead the next day or something, and they made a mistake. But with him and with a heart condition, anything can happen at any time. You can't just keep him bedbound for the rest of his life just so he doesn't drop dead walking around. Eric wouldn't want that. So he asked me 3 weeks ago to call the police and to get him out of there. And he said, if you're my friend, you will get me out of here. And then he gave me a piece of paper and he said, okay, if you won't get me out, give this paper to a stranger on the street and just ask them to come up towards T10. And he put his bed number and the floor and everything. And he said, have a stranger come and get me out of here. But they're killing me. They're giving me drugs that are making me weak. He said, I want to go home. Get me out of here. Get the police here to get me out. Now, when somebody's saying that to you, who's your friend,
Okay, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. That was a video which I'm going to put a link in the live chat to if you want to watch the rest of it by Resistance GP. I am curious on what you guys' opinion is on those people. They certainly talk the talk, as it were. They're covering something that I know Maria Ellender has been talking about for years, literally. She's been saying about what an absolute disgrace end-of-life treatment is. I think it's interesting that now these guys are talking about it. A couple of alarm bells start ringing on a couple of things they say. Am I right? They've got the transcript on here. I mean, there's other ways of looking at it, of course. Is there an option of a transcript? Let's see. And where does it show up? Oh, here we go. Levi. I don't know if I'm able to find stuff on the page. Didn't they mention? Was it Snowden? Maybe not. Perhaps it wasn't. No, look, Julian. That was it. Julian. Oh, Assange. MP's protest. I was looking for it in the transcript, but whatever. Again, I don't know about your guys' opinion on Julian Assange. If you ask me, he is... Oh, just checking my audio is still working and you're not listening to silence. No dead air on this stream tonight. Yeah, I will say actually, obviously doing it on a Monday night, one thing we haven't had is the cats. I've not actually been interrupted by a single cat. About 10 minutes before I started, one turned up. Yeah, I probably complain about it a bit. I actually miss them now, they're not here. But anyway, I'm sure they'll come in there in time. Yeah, going back to these people. Of course, people, real genuine people, no doubt protested Julian Assange's, whatever happened, extradition or whatever they wanted to do. And wasn't he being held at an embassy or something for months? Obviously, real people probably went and protested against that. So just because you believe in Julian Assange doesn't make a person... I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know much about Assange. All I know is that the mainstream certainly gave him an awful lot of promotion. Right, yeah, I did ask you guys what you thought of Resistance GP. I still haven't put a link, have I? Bear with me. I'll do that now. Resistance GB video. That video of course will be in the description as well. See, and they also said something about that it's cheaper for hospitals to put people on end of life and then they get rid of the patient and they save money. See, I don't think that's how hospitals work. I think hospitals deliberately push their budget, meaning that next year they can say, well, for example, I'm sure we've all worked or are familiar with a situation where an organisation, they've got a particular budget, and if they don't spend that budget, they lose it. So you imagine a hospital, and they're like, look, we've still got £5 million in our chemo budget. If we don't use it, they'll cut our budget by 5 million next year. Or what are we going to do? I don't know. Can't you find some people to give a few extra blasts of chemotherapy? See, I don't know if that happens, but yeah, I believe hospitals want to use up as much money. I don't think they want to cut costs. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, by all means. See, I am actually tempted to try and ring the hospital. The way this woman talks about it, her friend asked her to get them out. I don't know if they came out of hospital. But yeah, ring up, and if they are still there, and find out how the patient's doing. That would be one way to gauge how genuine it is. But yeah, that was Maria asked us to take a look at that, and yeah, I've got to say, there's a few too many alarm bells start ringing with some of these people. I'm sure some of the people we see in this video, I haven't watched it all the way through. Isn't this the former Labour leader's brother? Am I right in thinking that? Who else? I mean, what's going to come up next? David Icke? Are we going to see David Icke interviewed in a minute? And again, not everyone that interviews David Icke is necessarily controlled, but it just means that they happen to get interviews with people who are controlled. Nonetheless, they are highlighting is this just an example of the controlled op taking control of the story? I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you for suggesting that one, Maria, and apologies for not being able to give you a definite answer. Well, let's have a look at this guy, Levy, Eric Levy, and see if we can glean anything about that. I mean, I suspect, is there genuinely a 94-year-old person called Eric Levy? Oh, goodness me, my spelling. Yeah, once we get to about midnight, my spelling and cognitive abilities go through the floor, so you'll have to forgive me on that one. Right, just doing a search for Eric Levy. Police arrest 92-year-old supporter of Julian Assange. This was back in January 21, so he was one of the big names to be arrested. Did not. Let me think. Who was the other big name that got arrested? Oh, I can't even remember at the minute. Yeah, Mudlark says in the chat that she's suspicious. So they are suspicious of. Oh, what a coincidence! The time this guy got arrested, they happened to have. Well, I suppose everyone's there filming with their camera, but should we see this? Labour Heartlands. Okay. Julian Assange is denied bail. An anti-war campaigner was arrested for allegedly breaching regulations. A little more is known about the arrest. This is an ongoing story, however, there is much concern. Well, he certainly lived for another 2 years. He was once acted as a human shield in Iraq. Before, during and after the invasion. Well, why before? What's the point in that? His history of protesting for peace and justice is well documented. And then, of course, they got an opportunity to talk about Julian Assange. Apologies if the text is a bit small on this one. Well, we'll watch this video and just see how legit it looks, or is it just staged for the cameras? Oh, hang on. I will make it so you can hear. Bear with me. That's interesting. This person gets their camera out almost as if it's making us believe that the person filming is just filming with a camera.
He's 92 years old.
Look, when you're arresting someone, how often do you carry around a tablet? They're handcuffed him yet.
Have you no respect? He's 92 years old.
Very small person, like that. Is it just me that can see the eyes look a bit... Alright, we won't go there. I'm guessing it's just poor quality. I'll tell you what, we'll improve the... Okay, that's as good as the image quality is going to get. Okay. Getting a camera right in his face. Yeah, look at all these camera crews, all there ready for this arrest. I mean, what, were they tipped off in advance? So make sure you stood round here at this particular time, because we're arresting 92-year-old John Levy, because we suspect he's going to be breaching Bullspit 19 restrictions. So yeah, make sure you've got your cameras ready. Yeah, that looks staged for the cameras to me. But they're now saying that, I mean, perhaps GB Resistance, who, by the way, have got nothing to do with this particular bit of footage, perhaps GB Resistance are just covering it.
92! He's 92!
Someone's mentioning his age. 92, 94.
He's 92 years old!
So,
92! This is disgraceful!
yeah, what's more disgraceful is the amount of people that just stood around with their cameras. What's going on? That's almost unbelievable. Do people genuinely in real life get arrested and 100 people stand around filming them? I don't know if you ever remember. Oh, it's on Netflix. I can tell you that. It's called Black Books or Black Box or Black Books. It's these weird stories, and one of them is about a girl, and she wakes up not sure, lost her memory, doesn't know what's happened, and everyone's filming her. And apparently it's a punishment. I won't ruin it in case you ever watch it, but it's what it reminds me of. See, this guy back here, crowd. We just saw someone without a mask, by the way. Why isn't he getting arrested? I mean, none of these people are socially distancing. But here, there's someone, no mask. What rules is he? Yeah, and obviously there is a colour code to look for with crisis actors. Not suggesting these are crisis actors, but if they are, you always have to look out for someone wearing red, because that will be a director. And it's so they all know how to identify each other. Yeah, there's the red. There he is. Red hat. This guy's got a red scarf. Yeah, if any of these crisis actors aren't sure what's going on, find someone wearing red and they'll direct you. I think that's how it's supposed to work. Yeah, the colour codes are there. Red, red, red. And everyone else is in dull colours. Yeah, I believe they are told how to dress. Yeah, done it now. We've got our shot. We can all go and leave this now.
He can barely stand. Let him go.
Okay, again, I'm going to have to leave a link to this video because we haven't got time to watch it all, unfortunately. Let me see. Right. Arrest video. Yeah, just for, I don't know, just for the sake of comparison, I want to find another video of someone being arrested. I wonder if that resistance people have got any footage of people being arrested, and we'll see if the same colours come up. Or if they've got any videos of like fights breaking out with the police or anything. I see. Let's see. Julian Assange's wedding. Okay. Wow, they were there for that, were they? Brilliant. Oh, they haven't got many videos up. In fact, this channel hasn't even been around that long, I don't believe. Let's have a look. Joined in October 2020. Okay, so they're over a year. They got 71,000 subscribers. I mean, that isn't beyond the realms of possibility. I want to see. I tell you what, if I put protesters clash, and we'll see what comes up. All I'm looking for is an example of the colours. People wearing colour code, and basically that's what we're looking for. I'll mute it for a second. Oh, this is an advert anyway. Right, we're looking for people wearing dull colours, either everyone wearing black and white, and then one or two people wearing bright red. That is what we're looking for. There's red. Is that one of the directors? Yeah, and I will credit the Yeah, one over on 153 News, Jeffersonian girl. That is who I heard that information of. I remember seeing. Okay. Come on, waiting for the bit where they clash. Right, here we go. Most people wearing their black, white, and grey. Every so often, you got a person wearing red. A red t-shirt, red scarf, and very little other colours. What's the other one? Like, when they raided the White House. Was it the White House or something like that? Let's see. White House raid. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong building. Chaos in. Here we go. Yeah, again. You'll find plenty of the usual colour coding. Oh, there's Trump with his red tie, by the way. So that's the real one. We haven't got much footage here, have we? Oh, yeah, we have. Right. Yeah, apparently with the colour coding, I believe red means director, and then something like bright blue or bright green means that they've got a significant role to play. Let's play it a minute. Yeah, as you can see, the red shows up everywhere. Most people wearing black and blue with the occasional red. Anyway, right, I'm not going to get too sidetracked. We are going to have to start winding down shortly, actually, as it's now gone midnight. A few people mentioned what woke them up. Let's see. Maria says they are, and Piers Corbyn is part of them. Oh yes, they are the ones that arranged the protests, and Piers Corbyn is part of them. Aside from that, this is an interesting contrast with Deborah James and her end-of-life experience, and this elderly man held hostage in hospital. Yeah, I mean, do people not have a right to discharge themselves? I did think that was interesting, that the old guy, well, I mean, maybe that's how it is. Perhaps once they put you on end of life, you don't have an option to discharge yourself. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Maria, thank you. David says that emergency plane landings woke you up. Fair enough. David, not all of us are asleep. Susan, thank goodness. We were once, but have enough discernment to question. David suggests digital passports coming in September. What? Do you mean like literally passports to leave the country, or is that a passport for certain statuses, should we say? But okay, now of course, I mean, the fact they're still using paper passports is crazy. I can definitely see like travel passports being digitalized, and then it would just become the norm. Absolutely. Let's see. Susan said her awakening was finding Michelle Obama was a dude. Maria's was working in this working in psychiatry in the 1970s, listening to patients' horror experiences. Yeah, one of the worst stories I heard about was, I'm not sure what time of year it was. I'm again, all anecdotal evidence. This was someone who supposedly had worked with a woman who, her father had raped her as a child, got the daughter pregnant, so the father had her sent to a home for, mental, whatever they were, asylums basically, I think was what they called them back then. So yeah, they sent this poor girl to an asylum because she'd become pregnant, and they put her on all sorts of treatment, electroshock treatment, completely institutionalized her, so she never got to, couldn't live on her own, couldn't function for herself, and completely ruined her life. So, yeah, I mean, what kind of assessment must they have done on that person, if it's even a true story? But yeah, the source of it was, I trust the person that told me it. I don't believe they. I mean, there are enough genuine horror stories out there that I don't believe they would have to fake. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, which I mentioned plenty of times, my awakening was the Madeleine McCann story and watching Richard Hall. Actually, I remember reading 1984 when I was in my 20s, and it was the first time I'd ever read about false flags, although they didn't specifically call them false flags. They said, governments will bomb their own people to justify going to war, and then they'll blame it on the opposition. And that was the first time I'd ever seen it suggested that a government would target their own people. And that was around the time of, well, no, it was after 9/11 I read that, but yeah, that certainly made me look differently at that, or at least consider it in a different way. And then, I came across Madeleine McCann, and I realised that the press were following the McCann's narrative. I don't believe, my opinions changed completely now as to what they were maybe back in 2016, 2017 when I first watched Richard Hall's documentary on the McCanns. But yeah, he demonstrated that they had no interest whatsoever in reporting the truth, whatever that was. All they wanted to report was what the McCanns were telling them to report. And it was like, how is this, these people don't care about a missing child. They just want to, or finding who's responsible. Obviously, I've jumped to the same conclusion that I expect 50% of people that hear that case jump to must be the parents. My opinion has now changed to, was there ever really a Madeleine in the first place? So we can never be sure on that. But yeah, thanks for sharing your wake-up stories. Yeah, Maria says, the fact they are campaigning for the release of an elderly man who is being murdered by end-of-life treatment is brilliant. I've got you, Maria. I understand what you're saying on that. They are certainly highlighting, one way or another, they're highlighting a horrible situation. Something you have been talking about for a long time, so I appreciate that. David says, the Nice truck attack and Berlin market attack may be something to look into in the future. Yeah, definitely there are quite a few things I want to look into, but I am going to have to draw a close to the stream. The one thing someone left in the comments on, I left the post, and they said it looks like they've deleted the comment now, so if they want to stay anonymous, I'm not going to name them. But if they want to take credit for it, then by all means, let us know in the comments. Someone said their partner had bought one of these t-shirts. Let me show you. Rebellious Hope. Apparently, these t-shirts have raised like £6 million for bowel cancer. No, they said their partner had bought it, and they were absolutely fuming. And I do remember in one of the videos I made on this, the press had done a thing about they're cracking down on fake Rebellious Hope t-shirts. So what do you think I'm going to do? What has that made me think of? Hang on. Let me just open up my goodness, I got a lot of things open. Let me open my folder. Bear with me. Okay. Yeah, I've made a couple of things. I'm actually curious what you guys think is better. I mean, if I bring a couple up. Oh, of course, they're going to take the best part of 20 minutes to open, but we'll get there in a moment. Yeah, this is, forget the grey background, it would just be a black. Yeah, this is what I'm considering putting on my spring store. I haven't got one yet, but so let me show you the original. Oh, that isn't it. hang on, guys. My computer is not understandably. My computer is struggling. It's had to do a live stream for the last couple of hours, and it just can't handle it. Right. The Huntsman 144. Greetings. Good to see you in the live chat. Thanks for joining us. Always good to see you in. Just a quick one for you all. The Guns N' Roses show tomorrow in Glasgow has been cancelled for the third year in a row. Red Hot Chili Peppers gig in Glasgow the other day too. Interesting. I don't suppose it Bullspit 19, was it? Yeah, so this is the original Rebellious Hope t-shirt. Of course, there's plenty of images of Deborah James. See, I wanted to cover this, but maybe we're going to run out of time tonight. So yeah, I thought, hey, why not not cash in, but why not make a couple of, hang on, where's my folder gone? Yeah, I've done a few different designs. I mean, you've got the plain black one. I've added a bit of colour to some, and also this one. Right, here's one for example. So, Rebellious Hope, Bowel Babe, which the person went by. I'd hope that most people that would see this t-shirt would see it for what it was, and the word bowel crossed out, and Foul Babe's Disgraceful Hoax. Another one I went for was Rebellious Hoax. And finally, I went with, again, these are all early, hang on, that was the wrong one. Rebellious, Disgraceful, Animated Hoax. Because animated, a lot of it is CGI. If that's the sort of thing you think you might be interested in wearing one day, or seeing on a t-shirt, on a mug, I probably will put one of these designs on Teespring at some point, just to let you know, just in memory of Foul Babe. But yeah, again, I wanted to look at this story. It's about all the people that she inspired. I also wanted to see whether they've announced the funeral yet, because but yeah, apparently this woman she's starting a podcast with her kids, and they were just messing around. I mean, how ridiculous. A woman and her two kids do a podcast and it becomes really popular, and she ends up the face of cancer. Absolute dog shit, honestly. But yeah, these are all the people she's inspired. And I bet if you look too closely at any of these people, you would... 69? You would see it everywhere. What was the other one about this person? Oh, my mind's gone blank, unfortunately. It is midnight. I think I'm going to have to cover this. I don't know if I'll come back this week or if it'll be Sunday. But I certainly will make some more videos on what I didn't look at tonight. What was it I wanted to look at? Oh, I know. Although I've lost it now, which is a shame. I did have a story about... Yeah, someone off the X Factor. Who was it? I'll tell you what, I'll have to come back and do it. Anyway, someone mentioned it in the comments. Let's see, can we find it? Right early on in the beginning. Going back to Resistance GP. I mean, we're bound... No one's going to agree on everything. If you think the work they do is important, and if you think they're legit, then everyone's got a right to have their own opinion. It can be a different opinion to everyone in the rest of the live chat or on the face of the earth. I know I've been in many rooms where my opinion, I'm the only one to have a certain opinion. It doesn't make you wrong. just because you're... Yeah, I can't even find the name that I was looking for now. Yeah, sorry if we have overlooked anything. Was there anything I said I was going to look at, but didn't? Susan said, take a look at Ivor Cummings' last video, a cartoon first about teachers educating young children, then gives a preview on what a woman is. Alright, depending on how long that video is, Susan, and whether we think they would be offended by me watching it, we might play out watching it. I still want to find the link. Let's find it. Although it is getting late now, so... Oh, Maria said, did anyone see the protest taking place outside University College Hospital? That is what we looked at. So it actually yeah. Thank you for sharing that one, Maria. I don't know enough about them at the moment. As I said, there's some alarm bells that ring for me. But yes, it is good that the end-of-life treatment is being mentioned. Yeah. Who would personally... Yeah, right. I'm going to have to start winding down. I'm going to go through the live chat though and just... Yeah, thanks, the Huntsman. You're saying good night. Thanks for joining us tonight. I really appreciate that. Looks like Maria's finished. Is also saying good night. Thanks for joining us. Tone Dial, good to see you in the live chat. Genesis cancelled their world tour also. The Huntsman says Glasgow Rangers Football Club's best goalkeeper ever, Andy Gorham, died at the weekend on the day of Orange Protest Parade. He was 58. He's not dead. This is all to take the energy from so many in this city. Interesting. Okay, we will have a quick look at Andy Gorham. Yes, I am very suspect of a lot of, high-profile football. I'm not so sure about Scottish football. I mean, but you're suggesting he's still with us? Right, Ali McCoy pays tribute. So you think this is just to kill the mood of the city? Joking till the end, his son. Huh. Oh, here we go. Help raise bowel cancer awareness. What a surprise. Bowel cancer certainly seems to be flavour of the month. Ironic personality, Andy Gorham helped raise bowel cancer. A cancer charity chief has said iconic personalities like Andy Gorham speaking about the disease can do nothing else but raise awareness. What they actually mean is it will increase the amount of people that will go to a doctor and put their faith in what they tell them. I know a guy, he must be nearing retirement age now. Worked hard all his life. I know he's struggled. He's very bitter. He's very negative. And I remember he was saying that he'd finally finished paying off his mortgage, or that they were getting to the point where they'd finished paying off their mortgage. And I thought, that'd be nice for him. He's always moaning about how much he's struggling. But do you think they got to enjoy not having to worry about the mortgage? I mean, I don't know how they are now, but I know that within a year, both he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and his wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, and both had to have treatment for it and had to, I know he let them take his prostate. I'm not sure what treatment she had, but I don't think it's so sad really that people at a time when they should be enjoying life, they're trusting in their doctors. They're letting, when people say, oh, well, at least you got your health. I mean, I'm not saying if you've got a genuine reason for needing medical attention, well, yeah, of course, do what you think's right. Don't let me tell you either way, but bear in mind, a doctor is paid not to make you better. They're paid to prescribe medicine. Without the prescriptions, GPs don't make any money by the look of it. I mean, how do you think a GP gets paid so well, considering? Well, obviously private doctors are a bit different, but okay, let's look at this guy Gorham, played for Rangers between 91 and 98. He was a Scottish international. Mr. Crawley urged those worried about the symptoms to consult their doctor. Yeah, it looks like another push for rebellious hope, or a disgraceful hoax, as I call it. Okay, but yeah, thank you for sharing that one, The Huntsman. Yeah, I did want to look at Discord. Once again, I want to remind people that I do have a poll going on my latest post, if I can find it. Where is it then? It seems to have vanished. Community. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, if any of you can want to answer this, that'd be appreciated. I'm curious if any of my regular viewers are active on or even familiar with Discord. Yeah, just tick whichever one is most appropriate for you. You're a regular user, occasional user, you've got a profile but never use it, or you've never heard of it, or you've never used it. That is because I am kind of considering starting a Discord server. I know a lot of people did it years ago, and I've been invited to some, but I've never actually actively used Discord. But that's not to say I couldn't make use of it. I couldn't, maybe, if I thought there was enough people out there that might come on and, then I reckon I would possibly consider it. One thing with Discord, it's good that you can do it on a web browser. You don't need to install anything. It's basically a messaging board, but with loads of extra features. But I will have to cover that a bit more in depth in a future video. Right, I'm just going to scan down the live chat. Yeah, The Huntsman says chemo kills. And they did it to your uncle. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, the amount of people, yeah, I know young people that for the sake of a hospital or a medical department, using up their budget for the year, let's say, how many lives have been ruined? It's tragic, really. I'm a great believer in that the human body can heal itself, but so few people are prepared to give their human body the opportunity. The minute they've got something wrong with them, straight to the GP, reach straight for the PVR test or whatever you call it. And yeah, you're seriously doing yourself a disservice if that is your options. Yeah, David says that Andy was a legend and you met him once. Lovely fella. That's cool. Yeah, I think I said last week how many England goalkeepers I'd seen play, because when Bristol Rovers used to play at Twerton Park, which is Bath City's ground, they were in the second division. They played Southampton, who had Peter Shilton in goal, Watford, who had David James in goal, and I think Bristol City at the time had not Les Seeley, I can't remember, it was an England reserve keeper. It wasn't Chris Woods, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, yeah, I managed to see 3 England goalkeepers playing at crappy little Twerton Park, which is, yeah, a titchy little ground. But anyway, right, I'm going to do my thanks and we're going to start winding up for the night. We were going to maybe look for a video to play out on Ivor Cummings. Perhaps I'll have a quick look for that before I do finish properly. Where are we? Right, where's that gone? I've noticed YouTube make it more difficult to find channels now. If you're doing a particular search, like Ivor Cummings, for example, whatever they choose to come up, fortunately, they put his channel up straight away. But yeah, they make it a lot harder now to find. Oh no, it's alright on here, but if you're on. Yeah, if you're doing it on a mobile, it is quite difficult. Okay, apparently, this was one of the. Okay. I'm guessing this is the same person, is it? New hope for cancer. Wow. Treatment. Maybe this is a different Ivor Cummings. I'm not sure. Otherwise, yeah, I think would. Okay, let's just look specifically for channels. Let's see if there might be another one. Nope, that is the only Ivor Cummings on the internet. Alright, well thanks for the suggestion, by the way. Was it Maria or Susan who suggested that one? Yeah, I see Maria saying good night in the live chat. Well, also, we were going to have a look at let's see, very quickly, Guns N' Roses cancelling. I wonder what their reason was. Do you think it'll be anything to do with Bullspit 19? I just want to see what reason they give. Because no, I hadn't heard of that one. Due to illness and medical advice a day before the concert. Oh, Glasgow, right, it was due to take place in Glasgow. Yeah, I've never been to Glasgow. It looks like a really nice place, by the way. I wonder if they ever return. Well, yeah, I'm sure they. She joined Guns N' Roses on stage at Tottenham. Oh, they managed to do the gig at London now. For sad reason. Do they mention the sad reason? It was recently reported that Guns N' Roses and their infamous frontman Axl Rose had difficulty performing overseas at a show in London. The reason for this was because Rose's voice allegedly gave out. As a reminder, he would state the following during a set. I went to a doctor to get checked out. Well, there was your mistake, mate. And slept here last night to make sure. It's been reported that the Sun Guns N' the event was initially intended to go on Tuesday, the 5th. Yeah, no longer going ahead. That's a shame. Poor Glasgow, you have my sympathy. Let's hope next week things are brighter. Susan says, guy with the beard, did you see what I just saw? Susan, I'm not sure if I did actually. Was that... Are we talking Guns N' Roses? I don't know if I saw it. Let's see, where is it? Would it be on here? Yeah, sorry, Susan, I'm not 100% sure what you saw. I'm not sure, to be honest. So, unless it's anything to do with these people. Right. Okay. Apparently is that what they look like now, is it? Well, I vaguely remember them, but he always used to have a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, didn't he? Yeah, and he's wearing, again, designed to influence people into making very negative choices. He's got that guy from the Sex Pistols on his t-shirt. Yeah, these people basically promote drugs and alcoholism. Their music promotes Satan worship, death, destruction, misery. He looks quite feminine as well, doesn't he? Does anyone else see that? Right. We are going to... Right, I'm now going to say my good nights and start winding down because it is gone half midnight. I think this is probably one of the latest I've done, actually. Yeah, sorry, Maria, if we didn't see what you saw with the guy with the beard. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I got you, Susan. That was... Or Linda, that was the name of Ivor's video. Huh, okay. We may well need to look at it next time now. Let's just see. Can I find that particular video out of interest? Oh, here we go. Right. Am I really seeing what I just saw? You tell me. Yes, I'm a bit reluctant to use other people's videos. I mean, I know I do it all the time, but... Right, a short piece an actual teacher training video recently sent me. I'm a father of 5. Alright, we're certainly not going to watch all 5 minutes of this, but we will play out watching maybe 5 minutes, a 5-minute preview. And I will, of course, link to his... Okay. Right, I put a link to it if you guys want to watch the whole thing for yourself. In the meantime, for the purposes of review and education, we will have a look at Ivor Cummings' video. As I said, yeah, I haven't actually seen this gentleman's YouTube channel before, so yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what we'll be watching. KG, greetings, thanks for joining. Always good to see you in the chat. By the way, I love the cat in your icon. It looks like Linda Max. Is that someone holding a cat? I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, hello KG, greetings, good to see you in the chat. Unfortunately, we are literally about to finish. We're going to play out watching a 5-minute preview of Ivor Cummings' video. So, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Susan Byrne, KG, Linda Mack, David, the Huntsman 144, Tone Dial, Phil Wright, I certainly said Maria Ellender, surely, David, Maria, Phil, Susan Byrne, I'm sure I've thanked you. Mudlark Digging Up the Thames, if I haven't already thanked you. Big thanks as always for joining. Anyone else? Yeah, I've certainly said Phil Wright and David, I hope. I think that is everyone who has commented in the live chat. If you haven't, and you want to say hello, you've got a couple of minutes. Oh, Graham, of course Graham was with us tonight. I don't know if you're still tuning in, but if so, thanks for your comments. Just see if I've missed anyone else. Okay, I believe that's everyone. Yeah, big apologies if I have missed anyone's comment tonight. As I said last week, I think I missed T. Roof. I just remember seeing the name coming up later on and thinking, oh, I never spotted that person. I think they were making quite a good point from what I remember as well. So, yeah, T. Roof, if you're watching, my apologies. Tone Dial, I'm sure I've mentioned you. Yeah, thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. And of course, big thanks to Linda Mack for supporting me over on Patreon. Yeah, if you want to find me over there, the link's in the description, or scan the QR code. Another way you can support this channel is by hitting the thumbs up button. That's always appreciated. Or hit thumbs down if you want, whatever works for you. Yeah, subscribing and sharing on social media. All very nice things you can do for my video in exchange for the live stream. I will be back soon. Yeah, I kind of feel like I probably could have done another 2 hours, so maybe, just maybe, I'll be back before the end of the week with another live stream. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but if not, I'll be back on Sunday. Yeah, apologies for having to make it a day late. My wife, I say dragged, I was actually quite happy to go, took me to the Cotswold show, and yeah, which is about an hour from us, and yeah, it was nice looking round. But by the time I got back, it was nearly 9 p.m. and it was nearly 8 p.m. actually, and I just didn't have a chance to do the live stream yesterday. Although I am quite happy to try it out on a Monday. Right, Susan says in that video he does a preview of What Is a Woman. I've got you, Susan. I don't suppose you know when that part. Yeah, okay. I have shared a link to that ebook, and there will be a link in the description as well. Let's see. I am going to share my screen in a minute, and let's see if we can get to the preview. Hang on. Yeah, sorry, I haven't got one of my own videos to play out on. Okay, where's the preview? Alright, here, I'll share my screen and you can see what I'm seeing in a minute. This is clearly the bit about Matt Walsh. I mean, is he doing a reading? I'm just going to play it and see what we get. Hang on.
Then how's it not too young to make these life-altering, permanent changes to your body? That's the question they never have an answer to.
And talking.
Yeah, it looks like good stuff. Sky News, Line News, I call them, but yeah, that's introducing Teddy. All right, based on the recommendations, then we're gonna play out watching this. Hopefully I will be cropping it off the end of the live stream, so it won't be on here too long. But yeah, a couple of weeks ago I got hit with so many copyright strikes that it took me like a good couple of days before I could even put the video back up, because it took so long to remove them. So I'm very reluctant to, well, whatever, if it happens, it happens, I suppose. My fault for using other people's work, I guess. Okay guys, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Susan, it's been a good chat tonight. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank you everyone for taking the time. Alright. Linda says it's a cat with a mask from the Spanish flu epidemic. Okay, it's just a little circle on my screen. But yeah, that is ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, just leave the animals out of it. Hey, if humans want to be insane, why not? You know, it's up to them, but don't force cats to do it. Okay, 5 minutes of this then. I'm going to put a little note on my screen saying that, just letting everyone know what they're watching. Thanks, and right. Thanks and good night. Maybe I should have put that at the end of the thing. Okay. Video by Ivor Cohen's, link space. Link in description. And of course, the live chat as well. Thanks and good night. Okay, unfortunately, that is where we'll have to leave it tonight. Thank you for everyone for joining in, okay? I really do mean it. I really do appreciate you taking the time. If
yeah, I will be back when, if I'm not back before Sunday, then I'll certainly be back then, okay? Unless I have to push it forward another night. Okay, I'm starting to ramble, which is one thing I do when it gets late and I get tired. So I'm going to say good night and mute my microphone. Hopefully this video is interesting and informative. I'm not sure if we'll get to watch the bit about maybe we will. I don't know. I'm going to play 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most, alright? But I'm not going to play the whole video because that's just stealing other people's work. This, on the other hand, is previewing, giving it a bit of promotion. Although the guy's channel looks massive, so... Alright, guys. That's me done for the night. I am now officially rambling. So thanks everyone for joining and good night. Be back with you soon.